All right, so we are officially live and happy Tuesday, everybody out there in Facebook land. This is your boy Sean A. White coming to you with another episode here from Transformation Greatness, along with SBN, the Small Business Network podcast. And tonight, folks, we have a very special guest. As you guys been knowing, I've been talking about this for quite some time. Listen, I love my sisters. I love as far as for those that contributed as far as to the past. You guys have definitely brought great value. But as you already know, I've been talking about this for quite some time. I definitely wanted to interview more kings, more men that are just doing phenomenal things, that are really making major, splashes in their respective areas and venues. And tonight, this is no obsession. This is something that I'm happy and I'm proud of. So before we go ahead and jump into this, I want to say a special shout out going to Mrs. Camille Thomas Alexander, part of Game Changer Productions, for really putting this together and with
Yeah,
just her vision and creative genius. And this is what it's all about, folks. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Before we even do so, I want to remind everybody, if you catch us on the live, put in a hashtag live. Let us all know exactly where you're tuning in from. And if you should be happening to catch us on a replay, because I understand it's a Tuesday evening, you're out doing stuff. I get it. Make sure you're watching the replay and you're commenting. And of course, if this is giving you value, share it with your whole community. Don't be stingy. Leave that note. But with that being said, it's not about me. It's about my very special guest here. This brother here, from what I gathered from our conversations before, he's doing big, big things. I got a chance to watch his video, and I'm a kind of person, let everybody know, I'm a huge music fan. So you got to do something to really, really impress me, right? You really got to do something because I done heard it all, seen it all, basically. So when I seen this brother video, I played it about, I told you 3 times, Joshua, but it was like honestly 5 times, man. I can't even hold you, man. I mean, it was just good, like just the creative vision. I mean, just the choreography, man, the lyrics, everything. It was on point. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome here to the show Joshua Robinson, hailing all the way from up top from Jersey in the building. Jersey, stand up now. We have Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the show, my friend.
God bless you, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, you know what, man? I'm just basically doing on what I was called to do, man. And you know what? I love it, man. I love it. What about
Yes,
yourself?
sir. Man, God is continuing to blow my mind, man. I'm just grateful. Just in a creative process right now. I'm working on new music, new plans, just praying and putting things together, man. So, you know,
Yes, sir.
I just dropped some new music and I'm still working, but um yeah, man, I'm just grateful to be able to do what I love and it be in alignment with my assignment.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So we're definitely going to go ahead and jump into that. So I'm just curious, man, because from where we're from, right? Because I'm from New York, right, Brooklyn.
I'm, I'm from
So
I'm from the Bronx.
see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So with that being said, I mean, we already know as far as on how that environment is. But I'm just curious, man, what inspires you to pursue a career in gospel music? Because you could have went any other type of direction, and you know what, it would have been totally acceptable from where we're from. So I'm just curious, man.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I was headed in a different direction, but God just intervened in my life, bro. Um, I was doing R&B, I was doing secular music. Now, it wasn't raunchy or anything, it just what, it wasn't gospel. Um, but you know, God sent confirmation, cuz I've thought about this before. I've thought about this move and for some reason it just always pops back up,
Mhm.
then people started telling me, "Hey, man, if you went in the gospel, it would be a total lane for you because you would do it so different than everybody else."
Right,
And these are just things that people are telling me. Mind you, I never said anything out loud about me wanting to do gospel music. It
right,
was told to me.
right.
So, you know, with all of that confirmation, after a while, I'm just, and then one day, God just made it clear as day. He woke me up out of my sleep and was just like, you can do this at the magnitude that you do it, but imagine if you do it in my name, what I would do for you.
Mm, mm.
I had no other words, and I didn't want to combat or go against what God said, and I did it, and just the doors that God has been opening, it blows my mind.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I'm just following, I'm following the light, bro, and I'm there's no better option to take.
Mm. That's powerful, man. Amen. That's the way I felt when I was called as far as to be a speaker and a coach and what all these different gifts and tools that he has given me, man. It's just been like amazing, man. Just to be able to motivate, encourage, and inspire people. It's like, yeah, I'm be honest with you, there is no other path, man.
Yeah,
Personally, man. And so I'm with you on that. But before I go ahead and move on to the next question, my brother, I just want to welcome as far as those in the listening audience. So we have, look at that, it's funny now, Mrs. Camille Thomas Alexander, part of Game Changer Productions. She said, "Good evening, everyone." We have here Miss Shonda Olicia. She said hey to you, and she said hey to me as well. We have Mrs. Thomas Alexander watching this from Jersey. All
yeah.
right, all right. We
What's up?
got here. Yes, yes. And Shonda said, he is amazing. I love Joshua. Look at that. You got fans on all
God
over the
bless.
place, man.
Bless.
We got Coach Howard in the house. Wow. She's also very, very powerful as well. Powerful,
Yeah.
powerhouse speaker, man. She said, I love it. And Shonda said, I'm waiting on the new music to debut on Inspiration 98.7. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And by the way, guys, if you're not familiar with Inspiration 98.7, where have you been at? Because that station, I tell you what, I'm definitely a top fan on that for sure. For sure. So let's go ahead and transition now to the second question. So, how do you draw your inspiration from your songs and lyrics?
Um. Well, the song never really. It's funny as it sounds. A song really, in my life, has just created itself. It just birthed itself within me, and then I just put what I heard and what I felt on the canvas. So the creativity just kind of comes as I go into it and I dive and it reveals itself.
Right.
But it's a very spiritual thing for me. That's why, I think that's another reason why God really wanted me to make it about Him.
Mm,
Because, you know, sometimes when you try to meet an expectation, you can go a little deeper in a spiritual world that you don't belong in, you know.
true.
So,
True.
or yeah, well, it it's in my beliefs that, there are no other spiritual realms that you should enter besides the spiritual realm of Christ and Christianity. But that's where I
Right.
stand, you know, and I stand firmly on it. But well, no buts.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's how a song comes to me. It just it comes through Christ, and I just it comes from my heart, so it has a different kind of element to it, and everybody's heart is different. Everybody's heart carry different things, and so the way that it comes from my heart, you can hear it, you know.
Yeah, indeed, man, indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, while you're in the listening audience, by all means, please feel free to share if you have like any questions for myself or even Joshua. If you know me, I love dialogue versus monologue, right? So the more engagement you give us, the better, because we have here a superstar, and I'm not joking, and I don't use that word lightly. This brother here is super, super talented. So I'm telling you, if you don't know him, I recommend for you to follow him. The brother got skills to pay the bills for real. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Bless you, man. Thank you very
So,
much.
oh, definitely. Joshua, let me ask you this. Can you share a testimonial or story behind one of your more popular songs?
I say missing you.
Mm,
Missing you. I dropped this. I dropped the EP. I dropped the EP May 15th, 2024. Um, I have to give a shout out to my big brother Hassan Smith, who actually wrote the song. Um, and the song is very it's a very intimate song. But he sent it and he said, this song, it fits you. And when I heard
Mm,
it, I was like, okay, yeah. But
mm,
I, um, I put the production to it, all of the production, um, I called certain musicians and then I implemented some instrumentation myself. Very rarely do I take help from people, but when I do, it's always a blessing to be able to open doors and open opportunities. But yeah, that song is very powerful. The first few words are "Hello, Mr. Jesus. How have you been? Can you spare a moment for an old friend? We haven't spoken in quite a while. No fault of yours, God. I've been in denial. You hold my
mm,
hand and I let go. You show me signs and I play blind. You lend your hand and I let go. You were the friend, I was the foe. I think I messed up some of the words, but yeah, no, the
mm.
song it gets very intimate because it's a very common thing that us Christians we struggle with. When we kind of turn our backs on God, not doing it purposely, but just stuck in our own ways and not wanting to, you know, come loose of something, because of whatever emotional attachment you have to it. But you have to be wise and you have to know that God is always going to have the best intention for you. So, regardless of what you feel, God works in mysterious ways and his ways are unknown, but they're known to perform miracles. So, um, trusting in God is the wisest thing to do, and when you're away from the will of God, you know, if you have a heart for God, there's no way you could stay there for a long time. You miss
1,000%.
God immediately. You can feel the difference when you're not under the light of God. Missing is a very powerful song once you really dive into it and just allow the words to minister you. And as soon as you finish it, turn it off. Turn it off and see how that resonates with you. That can take you to a place. And I've done it multiple times. So yeah, Missing You is definitely, one of the most influential songs of this time for me.
Wow. Wow.
Very
Ladies,
powerful.
ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. So if you haven't had an opportunity to hear Missing You, I highly recommend for you to listen to that. And you know what? As you were talking more about it, it just really had me thinking of the times because for myself, be transparent, I had a huge problem as far as with anger and resentment.
Okay.
Yeah, that was something that it pretty much put me in a lot of, uncompromising situations, man. And it was only through God's grace and mercy because
Hmm.
if it hadn't been for him, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
I can totally relate to that. And that would be something I would love to listen to as well, Missing You for sure.
Listen to the
Definitely
whole EP, bro. I mean, the whole EP it has it has a lot of stuff in it. I mean, it's 4 songs. It's a 15-minute EP. It's
okay.
very short, 15 to 16 minutes.
Okay.
But you got the song that you heard in the video, "I'm In," which that might be my favorite to listen to, just like just
Yeah,
on
that'd be
any kind
jamming.
of occasion. Cause
That'd be
yeah,
jamming. Yeah, that'd be riding. That'd be riding. I ain't gonna lie to you. That'd be
God
riding.
God bless you, brother. And yeah, "Single Most Beautiful Thing" has its place. That's a favorite one amongst the people, my listeners, the people who listen to my music. Um, and "Missing You," "Cast Your Burdens" too. "Cast Your Burdens" is a nice little like calypso ish kind of thing.
Okay.
It is, but it isn't. It's real slight. You gotta listen You gotta check it out. You gotta check it
Okay,
out.
cool. Cool. I definitely will. Definitely will. And I just want to acknowledge here Latanya Davis. And she said,
Tanya.
good evening. Trini said, hi, Joshua.
Hey, Trinity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my mentee there and my adopted niece. And she is something
Yeah,
else.
she's awesome. She's awesome. She's so
She is beautiful, man. Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. So let me ask you this, brother. So what's your vision for your music industry and how do you hope it impacts listeners? I'm curious to hear about this.
Okay, so what would I like for it to do? I mean, honestly, there's nothing wrong with having desires of what you want. Ultimately, what I know for sure is, anytime somebody asks me, "Oh, what do you got coming up next?" or like, I always say whatever God has in store for me. You know,
Okay.
that's ultimately what matters the most. But you put your hard work and labor into your craft, and this is also a desire of mine to do music in life. Like I said, my assignment is in alignment with my calling. You know, so even though I'm sure it's more that God has in store for me, I don't know yet. You know, I'm leaning and dependent on Him to take me to those places. But I would like to be accoladed, for my contributions. Um, I mean, I would want to be alive to see it. You know, um, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, I don't do it for those reasons, but
Right.
you know, it would be nice. Let's be realistic. It would be
A
nice.
thousand feet.
So,
100%.
but I trust God. Trust God. I already received a Pearl Award in 2023, and I'm grateful. For everybody who voted for me. And when God opens those doors, I'm gonna walk through them. I'm gonna be like, wow.
As you
you
should.
know,
As you
I'm gonna
should.
walk through proudly.
As you
Yes, sir.
should, as you should, because because I know people like Kenton Jones, for an example, which comes to my mind. I mean, you got from
Okay.
rappers such as Andy Mineo. I mean, you got so many, man. It's just like from the Lecrae's of the world, and like, yeah, man. I'm like, all things is possible, man. Philippians
Yeah.
4:12, all things are possible with Jesus Christ, that strengthens me. And you
Oh
gotta
yeah.
believe that. And I just believe if it's for you, man, he'll definitely open it up for you, man, at the appropriate time. No doubt about it.
Yes,
No doubt
sir.
about it. Indeed.
Yes,
So
sir.
yes, sir. So let's go ahead and slide over here. So now this one here, this question here, which I have for you, can be pretty interesting. So you spoke about it a little bit earlier, but if you can get just a little bit more in depth for me, if possible, because you talked about earlier as far as from R&B. So what led you as far as from transitioning from the R&B from the secular to saying like, you know what, just strictly gospel is the thing for me versus the R&B side? Because could you touch bases on it a little bit earlier, but maybe you can go a little bit more in depth.
Well, I mean, the reason why I didn't go in depth to it is because of my level of obedience to Christ. So
Okay.
you know, I just wasn't in a place where I was going to debate or argue with God, about something that honestly He can benefit me the best in. So, you know, it really is as simple as, God is calling me in this direction and I'm gonna follow Him. That's what I believe every man, especially, I'm speaking to the men, since, this episode, I mean, shout outs to the ladies as well, but like you saying, you wanted to bring more men onto this topic, so I'm gonna speak to the men on this moment. We must always live our lives, always live our lives listening to God's direction, because we're supposed to be in charge. We're supposed to know, we're supposed to be the leaders. God appointed us as leaders, so you know, ultimately we're programmed to go in overdrive, but God gave us a choice, always gave us a choice. And if you want the best out of your life and your family's life, your wife, your children's life, whoever you're responsible for, you know, if you're following anything other than the voice of God, you're doing a disservice not only to yourself but them as well. You know,
Mm,
and we're appointed to be leaders. We need to do the responsible thing and go to the source, which is God Himself. You
mm,
know, do not be ashamed. Do not allow society. Do not allow popular opinion or unpopular opinion to
right.
sway you from following Christ and following Him openly and proudly. That is the way to go. That is how God designed for us to be, and this is the way that we need to be. And this is how everything will fall into alignment. Everything. Don't put a
Mm.
limit. Don't put a barricade on God at all.
Camille, I'm in agreement with you. She said that's deep. That is very, very profound because I was thinking about when you was actually articulating that. Yeah, TV and social media definitely has a way of really just downplaying our role, right? As far as the leaders that head a household. But I love how the way you frame that as well is because when you put God first and you allow for him to lead, then
Uh-huh.
things will be in alignment and in order the way that it's supposed to be. And I'm thinking like more times than not because of entertainment, and because of social media, and because of the world, right? They're portraying this type of image, right? Is that as a man, you can do whatever you want. You can live however you want, right? And you're the man. You're supposed to be the alpha, right? But it's just so misconstrued and so upside down. And it's just incredible, even in 2024, on how so many men basically
Hmm.
man. And it's sad. So I love how the way you frame that because I hope that the brothers that's listening really is taking heed to what you're saying because it's basically God's law. And
Yeah.
if we can humble and submit ourselves, right? Trust me, I get it because there's been times I'm like, you know what? I got this, man. I want to do this my way, right? But clearly, that way it doesn't work. So why not try his way?
Do it, man. Never. Like you heard the saying, "Don't bring a knife to a gunfight."
Correct.
You know, we're not fit for the spiritual things, man. Like not carnally.
Right.
It's a different it's a different animal, man. It's carnality has no match for spirituality. I'm just being honest. You know, we have to stay spiritual, and the spirituality is what's going to keep us cognizant of what we need to stay clear from. We'll be able to see it clear. The word shows you.
Right.
You know, it's people act like it's hard to open your Bible. Like just I mean, you just got to get over the desire. We have so much enthusiasm and entertaining and taking in poison
Mm, mm.
when we can. Like, what are you doing, man?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, just for a second or two, you were actually lagging, brother. But I think that the audience then got the concept. Guys, if you think this is solid and you're getting a lot of value from this, by all means, do us a favor. Go ahead and smash the heart buttons. I mean, just go ahead and smash them. Just tap, 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 tap as fast as you can. And also share this out again as far as to your colleagues, to your coworkers, as far as to your partners, whoever. Share this bad boy out. We want to go ahead and make this viral because this is special and this is something that's much needed to be heard, especially in our communities. And as far as on what I'm talking about. So we definitely appreciate that, brother. I want to go ahead and move forward here because I know that you're a very busy man. So let me ask you this: how do you normally incorporate your past experiences and the lessons in which that you learn and put that into your music, my friend?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, life itself. Lyrics are usually the easiest thing because, like you said, you know, it ties into what you just said. Um, when it comes from a place and it comes from a real place, you feel it more. You know,
Mm,
like the more personal the song is, the more it's felt. You know,
mm,
that's why some of the songs that we hear that's like, it's heart piercing or it's heart tugging, it came from a place, you
right.
know, um, and transmuting that emotion. Um, it's not hard when you're going through it, So
Very true.
when I go through something and I talk to God and everything, sometimes I'm letting out my anger, but I'm doing it in a musical way, and then next thing you know, I'm ministering to myself through this song. it's
Mm,
it's a very like I said, it's a very spiritual process, and so you know I treat it as such. So it's never really difficult for me because it comes from a different place. It doesn't come from me trying or putting in the effort. If anything, that's like post production and stuff like that. I might do that if it makes sense and play. I try
mhm.
to keep all of my songs as close to the core as how it felt in the moment, so that it stays, that emotion still is displayed.
Beautiful, beautiful. For all those that's tuning in, welcome once again to Transformation Greatness, along with SBN, the Small Business Network podcast, with our very special guest here, Joshua Robinson. And this brother here, if you haven't had a chance to follow him, listen to his music, I'm telling you, man, look, don't take my word for it. Just listen and hear it for yourself, and you be your own judge. I'm telling you, this young man here, I'm telling you, he's going places. I mean, he's doing big things now, but whew, I'm telling you, you got a household name, so it's going to come to a point where he's not going to be able to do podcasts and shows like this. The next time to even try to go ahead and get him, you're gonna have to pay some serious bucks. It's like that, and I ain't joking. I ain't joking. So I'm telling you guys, I'm surprised that the listener audience doesn't have any questions for you, man. I am very, very curious. I just think that they're just enjoying as far as our conversation. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, they probably. I mean, I'm open to questions, but yeah, it's. I think for the most part because they're sometimes just hearing somebody speak in a way that relates to you, kind of makes you want to listen more than you speak, you know. So sometimes that could happen, or they could just, a lot of people are often surprised, when they talk to me because they think I got an old soul, But
Mm,
honestly, like I said, everything I say and do, I just try to, you know, I try to spread the word and the love of God, and I think that's another reason why they stay is because when in some way, what I say might bless somebody, and so when you're in reception mode, you
right.
don't want to speak. You just want to receive, especially if you listen to God. You don't want to really talk while God is talking, or if God is talking through someone. You
Correct.
know, that
Correct.
case, yeah.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, you know what? I can definitely relate to that because when I do speaking presentations and when I do live streams here and I'm talking about a particular topic or a subject, and I'm just really pouring it into people, man, like really pouring into people. And it's kind of interesting because when I'm in the spirit, I don't know what I'm saying, but clearly it resonates with someone because people always ask me, "Do you remember when you said this and this and this and this?" I don't have a clue. I do not remember whatsoever, but I done my job in creating, impact and changing one person's life. At the same token, I love to
Hmm.
be able to be poured into as well. So I love listening to people such as like the Les Browns of the world, the Lisa Nichols, John Maxwell's, the Eric Thomases, even just quote unquote ordinary, regular people, I can even learn a lot from people as well, in which they don't have to be a celebrity, right? It can just be the everyday person, but just gathering that wisdom and being and allowing myself to be um poured into is such a beautiful thing. So I'm glad that you actually mentioned that, man. That was actually very, very, very powerful. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
brother.
let me ask you this: during your music journey, was there like any artist in particular that pretty much inspires you?
Lots of artists. Fred Hammond, D'Angelo,
Mm.
John Legend,
Woo.
um, Mike, um, what's his name? Raphael Sadiq. I've been listening to him a lot. He's nice. um,
Oh yeah.
and I'm starting to get into more gospel and stuff like that, like Kelante. Um, what's his name? Travis. No, no, no. Oh, what's his name? Jonathan McReynolds.
Mm,
Um, but Fred Hammond is really like that's that's like the top of the top for me as far as my
that's the guy.
vocality. I get often compared to him, and in my eyes, like I don't see what y'all seeing, but I get compared to him. I just, but that's a huge comparison. So I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's the man. That's the man right there. That's the man, boy. Man.
yeah, yeah. Like I
Mm.
just,
I
I
can
got
see it
mad
though.
respect. I've sung I sung background for him one time, and I've met him before and everything like that. And you know, um, I know people like Eric Rideout, and all of them. They always laughing when somebody says, they call me a baby Fred or something like that. I'm just like, man, I don't claim it. I'm not gonna claim that name because I just have respect for him. There's only one Fred Hammond, and I'm Joshua Robinson, you know. But
Absolutely.
yeah, man, but Fred is a genius though. I gotta give it to him.
Yeah, yeah, that's a heavy hitter for sure, man. Definitely. Yeah, he's like part of and more how they say it? Immortals, in my
Yeah,
opinion. In my opinion, along with Marvin
yeah.
Sapp and many others. So yeah.
And Marvin Winans too. Marvin
Oh
Winans,
yeah.
I listen to Marvin. He's another heavy hitter. You know,
Oh for sure.
he is. You know, yeah, he's a legend, man. He's a legend. He's a legend.
Indeed.
Much respect to Marvin Winans. I met him before too.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a bit about Everlasting Life, my friend? What was the inspiration behind that?
Okay, everlasting life. Um, John 3:16. Says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, for whosoever believeth in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life or eternal life." Um, so um, when I first recorded it, I recorded the music. I had a Tobias, I had a 5-string Tobias. There's a bass, and I was just playing it. I had a drum loop, and so I just started playing, and I just played the bass, not thinking about the chords yet, kind of thinking about them, but just taking a guess. And so I'm just playing them, and I'm putting it all together, all the way
Right.
to the end. So it's just a bass track, and it's just a drum loop. So I finally put the chords together, and I tried to make it make sense.
Mm,
And there goes that with some auxiliaries here and there. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay, that was my interpretation of making like a record, as if Stevie Wonder and Marvin
mm.
Winans did a collaboration. That was in my mind.
Ooh.
And for the musical, but John 3:16, you know, when I made that as my reference point, I just started to break down what it meant to me. And so I
Mm.
put it on canvas. And so there goes Everlasting Life, an art piece.
Wow. 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 Amazing. Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in once again, we are here, a very special episode on transformation greatness, along with SBN, the Small Business Network. And we have here Joshua Robinson. This has been an amazing. I mean, I got so many other questions here, but that'll probably be for part two, to be quite honest with you, if you're willing to do part two. I
Let's
want to
do it.
ask you something. I want to ask you something, Joshua. How can others get a hold of you? Because I'm pretty sure after watching this, they're gonna be like, "Man, okay, so this brother's intelligent. He's wise, man. He's musically talented." But they want to know, how can they get a hold of you? What's the best ways they can get a hold of you?
So you can reach out if you want to book me or you know for a show or a service, interview, whatever. Reach out to Miss Camille Thomas Alexander, who's my promoter. She's been on the live the whole time, um, and she handles all of that. So but you can follow me on Instagram at j.j.l.r. I'll say it slow one more time at j.j.l.r. And so you'll see me sitting there. I got a purple suit jacket on, sitting in the chair.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
yep. So that got my information. You could check my music out on any streaming platforms. Um, and check out my music video for I'm In if you haven't seen it yet. It's on my Facebook. It's on YouTube as well. Just type in Joshua Robinson I'm In and it'll be there. And just stay tuned for the new music that's getting ready to come out soon.
Awesome, awesome. Last but not least, brother. I know you mentioned earlier, as far as when I asked you on what's next in the store, and you said, well, really at this point, you're just allowing for God to lead you. But I guess, what would you like to see happen in the next few months? Any type of projects, anything like that, any events, anything like that we
Well,
can kind of.
I'm open to the events, So yeah, like I said, reach out to Miss Camille, and then we'll get it set up. But I've been working on this music lately, and I want to see it really come to life. I'm challenging myself musically, um, but I think it's gonna come together. It's gonna come together nicely. I'm certainly praying so. Uh,
Absolutely.
but I'm anticipating something real nice, and I think you guys will enjoy it for sure.
Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. We have here Dr. James in the house. Welcome, welcome. That's actually my business partner. I want to
What's up?
ask you. I want to ask you a question. This is something that I normally ask my guests, because you're gonna have those. The majority, I'm pretty sure, of my audience is gonna be like, you know what? I'm so proud of this brother, man. It's a beautiful thing. They're gonna be in full support. Which, by the way, guys, please go ahead and like, comment, and share this out. I mean, on all your social media platforms.
Yeah.
But brother, especially from where we're from, there's always one or two people that's gonna say, well, you know what? I mean, that sound good, man. I mean, hey, I'm happy for the brother, man, but I got goals and dreams, but I ain't really worrying about them, man. I don't have that kind of talent, or I'm not a pretty boy, whatever the case, right? I got so much of this and that, and I got all these different reasons and excuses on why they're not chasing their dreams. I would like for you to do me a favor for the next few minutes. I would like for you to look in front of that camera and imagine that either he or she is telling you all the reasons why that they can't achieve their dreams. What would you say to that individual if they was telling you that right in front of you, giving you the sob story?
Um, no reason is a good enough reason to quit.
There it is, folks. Short, sweet, to the point. No reason to quit. No reason to quit.
Never win. You'll never win if you don't try. If you don't
Mm,
try, you'll lose.
mm. Look at that. There it is. There it is. So on that note, family, this has been a very special episode, as I mentioned. Transformation Greatness, along with SBN, the Small Business Network podcast. Do me a favor. I said this before and I'll say it again. If you're not following Joshua Robinson, please go ahead and follow this brother. He is doing great and tremendous things. I'm telling you, his video, man, I've seen that video. I played it 5 times, and I'm telling you, that is something to really get your day going. If you ever feeling down or whatever the case, you listen to that video. I'm telling you, man, it's just beautifully well done. That's all I'm going to say. You got to see it for yourself. Make sure that you're following on all his social media handles. Be on the lookout as far as for his album, any other future projects. And I'm telling you right now, mark my words, in the next 5 years, it's going to be very hard to get this brother on a podcast or a show because I'm telling you, man, I see it right now. He's probably going to be pulling like Lecrae numbers or even higher, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. So you better get him now before he get out there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Brother, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been beautiful and I appreciate you so much. You have any final words for your listening audience or for your fans or your future
Absolutely,
fans?
absolutely. The only person that knows your fullest capabilities are you. You know, don't wait for nobody to give you opportunities when you can make your own opportunities happen.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about. So until then, family, if what we stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, then may God be the glory, and we take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you're all amazing. We appreciate everyone out there. Remember to like, comment, and share this out to all your social media platforms. Let's make this go viral. And by His grace and mercy, look forward to seeing you all on the next episode. Appreciate you, King.
Blessings, bro.
Yes, sir.